news, Melinda, now from one of our reporters on the scene that there may be 2 fatalities there and at least 50 injuries. That is coming in right now. We want to go now to our correspondent. We have a correspondent on the scene. Oliver Sallet is there in Western Berlin. Oliver, tell us, what more can you tell us?
Well, this is like unfolding at this very moment, and the situation is very tense. Of course, we don't have many informations right now. Apparently, there are 2 casualties, several injured, as you've mentioned. And I'm standing here in Western Berlin. This is a commercial area. Actually, you can see that maybe behind me in the back. Police has now closed this road here. This is a shopping area where people would go, and right now at this busy time of the year, very shortly before Christmas is here, so people would do their shoppings there and would buy presents. And also at this square there's a very famous little Christmas market at the so-called Breitscheidplatz that's been there for over 30 years, and you can imagine that tonight there were many people there having a drink, doing some shopping, having something to eat there when this truck crashed into people.
Yeah, and you know, we've all been in that area where you are, and especially in December, the Christmas market is very crowded. Have you been able to talk with authorities at all, Oliver, and talk to them about the types of security measures that are already in place there?
Well, I mean, the police is now trying to keep people out because the person, the perpetrator that apparently drove this truck is still at large. So they're actually saying this is going to be quite a dangerous situation to be here, actually. So what they're doing is they're trying to keep people out right now. This is unfolding at this very moment, and they don't have a lot of information right now. So we have to be a bit more patient here and see what's happening.
Right. Yeah, and if you are joining us here on DW News, we've got breaking news coming out of Western Berlin tonight. An apparent, police are saying, an apparent terror attack on a Christmas market. You're looking at live pictures of the scene right now. There is one confirmed fatality. Police saying maybe up to 50 injured. The driver of the truck, we understand from police, fled the scene and is on the loose right now. Our correspondent, Oliver Sallet, who was on the scene there, telling us that the police are saying that that area remains a dangerous crime scene. They have, as you can see, trying to cordon off the area. Oliver, do we know exactly how many people, an estimate of how many people were in that vicinity when this truck plowed into the market?
I can only guess right now. I think those must have been several hundred people, but if you consider that 50 were injured, and we know that 2 people died so far, and we also know, and if we remember further attacks that happened earlier this year, and obviously it rings a bell if you think about Nice, what happened there when a truck drove into a big crowd of people, that eventually and after a while the number of casualties goes up and up. So what I'm pretty sure is that this is not, we're not at the end of the day today, and there might be even more people who died from this attack.
Yeah,
which we might find out later.
Yeah, I mean, we've got some reports coming in right now. The Wall Street Journal, for example, a colleague there saying that the death toll is rising, according to what police are telling him right now, saying that police are saying as many as 9 people could be dead. And that's, we're hearing from a colleague at the Wall Street Journal right now who is on the scene. So it's a situation in flux. If you're just joining us, again, this is a breaking news situation. There has been an apparent, police are saying, a terror attack on a Christmas market in Western Berlin. We have confirmed 1 fatality. We have reports of 2 fatalities. Other reports saying that that number may be higher. we understand from police that up to 50 people have been injured. The driver of the truck that plowed into the crowd fled the scene. And Oliver Salad is our reporter on the scene there now. Oliver, we can hear the police sirens behind you. Do we know how large that area is that's been cordoned off right now? I mean, you're a fair distance away from the Kaiser Wilhelm Church, which is at the center there, which has the Christmas market all around it, aren't you?
Yeah, that's right. They locked the scene off in quite a distance, actually, here. So I would guess those are at least, say, 200 to 300 meters here. There's many police and ambulance cars coming in here. There's also scenes of people who are like trying to reach a nearby local train station, the so-called Bahnhof Zoo, and people just don't know where to go right now, and police can't even tell them either, because police doesn't even know where the other sides and entrances and exits are of this area right now. It remains under lockdown, that's for sure.
And Oliver, we just heard confirmed from the police that 9 people have died in this attack. That's just coming across from the Berlin police. So 9 people died. They are, as I understand, standing by the number of 50 people have been injured. A tragic Monday night here in the German capital. If you're just joining us right now, there has been, police are saying, an apparent attack on a Christmas market in Western Berlin. We understand now that 9 people have been killed. They died when a truck drove into a crowded scene. People out on a cold winter's night at a Christmas market, which is something that you would find all across the country. 9 people have died, 50 people have been injured. Oliver, what about safety there? We were talking with Melinda about that. There is no absolute safety. We understand that, but there has been the fear in the country, particularly this year, that something like this was bound to occur.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I mean, just think back what happened in summer. We had an attack in the city of Würzburg in a train where a young refugee attacked people with an axe. And we had another case in the city of Ansbach where a refugee as well, he was supposed to be detained back out of Germany, where he blew himself up at a summer festival. Now, there has been this fear all over the country, and many people were actually asking themselves, why did nothing happen so far at this point? Now we see how quickly things can change, and it's a very tense moment right now here as we speak, and police is still coming in, and the situation is still not clear here.
All right. Oliver, stand by there. We'll let you see if you can't gather some more information for us. I'm here in the studio. My colleague Daniel Winter is with us. You've been gathering some information, Daniel, and we just want to remind people the latest reports from the police is that we have 9 fatalities from this, what they're calling a terror attack on a Christmas market here in Berlin.
Yes, now this is in an area, Kurfürstendamm, which is a very busy shopping area. And this particular Christmas market is very busy at this time of year. It's a popular area for tourists and Berliners alike to gather. It's the kind of place which is normally associated with a very happy times, very positive atmosphere, very nice, of course.
I mean, we've all been there.
We've all been there, and it's a tradition in Germany to go to a Christmas market around this time of year. But of course, the circumstances here were unimaginable, I imagine, by many of the people who were there. And
for a lot of people watching us, let's kind of help them imagine what the Christmas market would actually look like. I mean, the geography of it.
Yes, well, you have many stalls going all around the Christmas market, lots of areas for people to pass through and maybe drink some wine or eat some snacks and talk together and relax and sit down and basically to spend their time warming up
Right.
during
I mean,
this.
I mean, it's
winter
almost
time.
it's almost like a county fair, right? I mean, there's many of them. There's a Ferris wheel. There are games, and, rides for the children.
Yeah.
But like you say, it's a place where people go because it is cold, and they go to be close together because they drink, Glühwein or their cider and warm up. But that also makes it especially vulnerable then to something like this, doesn't it?
That's right, because there are so many people gathering in one place. Now, there are about 80 Christmas markets throughout Berlin at this time of year, and of course, they're full, they're crowded. They become more and more popular over the years, and so they attract all kinds of people from outside of Germany as well, because it's this place which you associate with Germany. It's a tradition here. So they're very popular, and so a lot of people packed into one place at these Christmas markets.
I'm wondering, do we know what the status is at the other Christmas markets across the city right now? I mean, have you had a chance to look at that? Have they been closed right now?
We haven't received any reports of any other incidents of the Christmas markets. I imagine, especially at the busiest ones, so we're talking about Gendarmenmarkt, for example, another very popular packed market within the city. They'll be reviewing their security procedures right now because that's the kind of market where they will check your bags when going in on a particularly busy day.
I mean, have you been to a Christmas market lately?
Yes, I have. And it's the kind of place where you go to be with your friends, enjoy the time together, and warm up over a glass of mulled wine. And, of course, this kind of incident is the last thing that you expect to happen. Even despite all of the terror warnings that we've had, we can't say yet whether this is a terrorist incident, but we've had warnings about attacks that could happen in Germany. I know that the US has warned Americans coming here that these are potential targets and basically be on the lookout. And so, although despite all of these warnings, you don't ever feel that that something bad is going to happen to you there, because it's very uncommon for this kind of attack to happen.
Yeah. Let's pull our political correspondent, Melinda Crane, back in. Melinda, the news of the day was already grim. I mean, we had news of the Russian ambassador being shot and killed in Ankara. And there were reports, too, that the gunman had shouted, this is for Aleppo. And you've had then, obviously, this part of the world on edge because of that. And then this happens, and there is this knee-jerk reaction then to try to make some type of connection. But we're very cautious not to, right?
Well, a different kind of connection was made here actually just a week ago by the Chancellor herself, who said that the success of the effort to push back Islamic State in Syria and in Iraq actually could increase the threat of attacks in European countries and, of course, also in the U.S., saying that the very fact that Islamic jihadism is now in retreat in the Middle East could well mean that some of the jihadis, including especially Europeans and some few Americans who have headed to the Middle East to fight on the side of IS, might wind up returning to their home countries and then instigating attacks here. So again, that is a concern that has been around for quite a while, in fact, since the offensive against IS began. But again, these are very, very early moments here. We do not have any kind of attribution for this attack. We don't even know for sure that it was an attack. So all such connections at this point are purely speculative. But it is an issue that's been on the agenda here in Germany. As I said, the Chancellor herself warning just a week ago that the risk of such attacks might increase as we see IS fall back out of its strongholds that it had.
Yeah, and again, we're being very cautious here to draw any connections, but at the same time, we want to be responsible in putting the story in context. And it is true that the country has been on heightened alert. We have been hearing from the highest political officials that these are not normal times, and that as progress is made against Islamic State in the Middle East, then security and intelligence agencies expect more, or an increase in the number of attempted terror attacks here in Europe. So, I mean, the tendency to make those connections, though, is understandable, isn't it?
It's been an item of discussion for some time now, ever since the attacks in Paris, in Brussels. German leaders have said many times, we know perfectly well that Germany is not immune. Germany is, of course, also subject to this risk. And as I mentioned earlier, and as we also just heard from Oliver, there were a number of attempted attacks this summer. In fact, one that bears some slight resemblance to a situation like this, where a person who had been refused asylum status here in Germany attempted to blow himself up in front of a crowded wine bar. Obviously, crowded scenes are very attractive for people who are thinking about fomenting some kind of terrorism, of instigating an attack, because you have greater possibility of casualties. So that was just one of a number of incidents this past summer that created a great deal of public concern about the degree to which the large number of refugees admitted to Germany also might be a source of potential violence and instability. Essentially, two different sources of potential threat here, one being jihadists who have left European countries and gone to fight in the Middle East and then perhaps returned to their home countries as radicalized Islamists, and then concerns that some of those who came in as refugees may either have been radicalized once they were here, or perhaps a very few of them come in with the intention of doing harm. But again, that too is speculation at this point. We've had a few attempts at attacks by people who did enter as refugees, but as you know, of the many hundreds of thousands who came in, that is just a very, very tiny number indeed.
And if you're joining us right now, this is DW News live from Berlin. We have breaking news.